Good morning, third grade. It is Mrs. Moran. Today is April 7th, and I am here and I am going to unpack your problem solving for you today. So let's get started. I am going to start by just reading the problem and seeing what it's asking us to do. If Julia is planting her garden that is 8 feet long and 12 feet wide, what is the total area of her garden? How can she divide the garden into 4 equal sections? Make a diagram to show your work and write a number sentence to go with it. So we want to start by going back and just kind of talking about what we know the problem is asking us to do. Kind of what do you remember from the problem? So the first thing I'm going to highlight is that I know Julia is making a garden. Then I am going to, I think these numbers might be important, so I'm going to highlight them because it says she wants it to be 8 feet by 12 feet. So I'm going to highlight those so I remember those numbers. Then it asked me a couple questions. I heard a couple questions as I was reading it. The first one was, what is the total area of the garden? What is the total area of her garden? So I'm going to highlight that. I'm going to close this, see if it will stop dinging. Okay. Then my second one was, how can she divide the garden into 4 equal sections? So I got a little bit of work I have to do here because there is a couple different questions that they are asking me to solve for today. It does say I can make a diagram to show my work, but I also have to write a number sentence to go with it. So I am going to move over to my document camera and I am going to show you how I might start to attack this problem. So first off, I want to think about what is it asking me to do and what do I know that's going to help me solve this problem. So I know it's asking me to find the area of her garden. So I'm going to have to do that before I know, like before I finish, I know at some point I'm going to have to find the area. I also know that I'm going to find 4 equal sections within her garden. Maybe she's wanting to plant like 4 different types of plants. She wants to section it off to make them easier to see because as they start to come up, they all kind of look alike. And that way she knows exactly what is in each section. So I know back from the story, it talked about a diagram. So I might start with a diagram or a model. That's what it's asking you to do. And how might I model this? Well, I know from the problem they gave me that was 8 by 12. So 8 by 12. What shape comes to mind when you think about one that is one side or 2 sides are going to be 12, 2 sides are going to be 8? I think I see a rectangle in my mind. So I am going to go ahead and draw that rectangle out. And I went ahead and I went down 12 lines on my paper. I don't know if I'll need them or not, but it's just, I think it's going to make it easier for me when I go back to section it into 4 sections by doing that. So at school, we have talked about different ways to find the area. And one way to find the area is we can count those little squares if there's squares in it, but this model I just drew doesn't have those squares, so I'm not going to be able to use that. I could also tile it, but again, we're at our houses. We don't have those tiles, so that option is going to be out. So the only option we have for finding the area is to use that length times width, to use that number sentence. So we're going to have to multiply our length times our width, which we know is our 8 by our 12. So I can multiply 8 groups of 12, but wow, that might be really hard for me to do. And I just don't know that I want to attack 8 groups of 12. So I might look at ways that I can decompose it. Can I decompose the 8? Maybe I can decompose the 12. Maybe there's 2 numbers within this 12 that I know are really easy to multiply. And I'm just going to pull those out, multiply those by 8, and then I know I can put them back together. So I want you to think about, how can I make this easier to multiply in order to solve for the area. So once you have the area, and I'm going to put equals A because why? It equals the area. So 8 groups of 12 is going to give me what? It's going to give me the area. Then I have to think about 4 equal sections. So I'm going to have the area before I attack this 4 equal sections. So could I use that in order to figure out the area of these sections? And then maybe I could go back in and draw them in. So you might be able to come up with a number sentence that you can write to figure out your 4 equal sections. Maybe I'm not seeing that. Maybe I want to go back up here and I want to think about, if I'm making 4 equal sections, well, what is that asking me to do that I have done before? I have this rectangle here. If I'm going to make it into 4 equal sections, oh, that kind of reminds me of partitioning. So maybe I can think about a way that I can equally partition this. Now remember, I said I used 12 lines. So that might help me when I go back to start to partition it, if that is the way I choose to do it. It's up to you how you choose to do it. Once you have it solved on your problem or on your paper, you are going to come back over here, and on the second slide, you will see where it says upload my work here. And you can just go up here to insert, and where it says image, you're going to let that drop down, and then you're going to go all the way down to the camera, click on the camera box. It will come up. You can take a picture. It's not letting me because I have my camera working already on this video, but yours, you will actually see your camera there. After you have uploaded your picture here, I would like you then to come over into the second box and type out how you solved it. Like, explain to me what you did in order to figure out the work on your paper. It's just a little bit easier for us to understand your thinking if you can type out over there in words what you did. So happy solving. I know you guys are going to do great on it. I cannot wait to see your work.